Hello, beautiful alchemist. Happy November. Actually, it's the end of October when I'm recording this, but I'm doing it because we have a new moon on November 1st. But this is your energy of the month for November 2024, and we have a lot to cover. There's some very interesting energy as we are rounding out this year. So, one of the things I want to point out first, I feel like this month really points to depth and expansion. And that's because of the two signs that the sun will be in throughout the month of November. So we start with the depth of Scorpio and then that expansion of Sagittarius. So we'll talk more about Sagittarius energy in December, but this depth that we are going into really prepares us for the expanding into our wisdom. Now, mentioning that, I have to also mention that prior to Scorpio season, we were in Libra season. And in Libra season, we had this opportunity to examine and acknowledge our relationship energy, how we are in relationship to other, how we are in connection with other. And this energy brings about a lot of illumination around romantic relationship, but also partnerships, collaborations, connections that may have some sort of meaning to us that adds some sort of value to our life. And really, it is highlighting those relationships and connections that we value in some way. But once those connections are either examined or made or transformed in some way, there's this opportunity to then go deeper and to really um, go into the emotional component, the emotional depth, go beyond just the surface, go beyond just the pretty of the connection that Libra may highlight. So, Scorpio is going to invite us into the depth of emotion, but really the depth of our inner exploration, having that curiosity and that need to understand not just the nature of our own feeling, but the nature of the feeling, the emotion of those and what we are in connection with and to. So, this is a very interesting kind of energy, and it can really help us to go deeper into our personal power. Now, many of you know that Pluto in modern astrology is ruled by the planet Pluto. Did I say Pluto? I meant Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by the planet Pluto. And Pluto is known as the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation. And Scorpio is often associated with the phoenix rising. And so, you know, it really depends on the lens that you want to look at this from. I mean, you can look at like death, destruction, oh, the ashes of the phoenix burning it all down to the ground. But it's really to say, to look deeper at what would be the purpose in that? What would be the gift in that? What would be the value in going so deep into the underbelly, into the underworld of your own life experience to explore, not just the shadow, but what makes you tick, what programs and fears, doubts, or worries have been functioning in the shadow of your subconscious mind that have been feeding into not just how you create, what you attract, what you may desire, and what you repel. How do these energies also contribute to how other people relate to you? There's a lot to be understood here. And the beautiful opportunity is when we sit with these energies, when we don't run from them, but rather we sit and have this willingness to allow the transformation to occur, we reclaim our power. One of the ways we give our power away is by running from it. We give it to other people. We just totally avoid it at all cost. Sometimes it's we don't want to be confrontational. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to lose our sense of belonging. We don't want to lose our sense of connection. But how important and valuable is your connection to you? your clarity, your understanding of you, your truth, what matters to you, and again, what you value. So a lot of this has already been stirring because Libra season would have already kind of kicked up some dust around this. But Scorpio is where we remove the rose colored glasses and say, like, really what's beneath the surface in these connections, our relationship, and all of these different elements and aspect of our lives. What is driving you at your core? So sometimes we have to destroy or transform or allow destructive energy to come in to reveal to us what has been hidden. Imagine the purest aspect of yourself is there existing within you, but it's been covered by layers of hurt, by layers of disappointment, by the projections that other people have made of you on you. It has been covered by old stories, old teachings, things that aren't necessarily true, or things that may have served you at one point but don't serve you now. Scorpio says, start cracking that open. How do we get to the core, the truth of who and what you are? How do we unlock the wisdom and the true power, the true strength of who and what you are? How do we start to reveal more of your true nature? You know, you always hear wisdom is hidden in plain sight. Scorpio's like, well, go far beneath the surface to find where that is. And then again, in Sagittarius season, we lift and expand that wisdom that is found. We have to find it first. So, what is this month inviting you to discover or rediscover about yourself, about your path, about your wants, your desires, your need for healing and transformation, whatever that may look like for you individually? So, all right. I took some notes because there's so much information here. I don't want to miss out on anything. And if you have my deck, the card that governs this month is the Feather card. And the Feather card really highlights the story of Mayat, the Egyptian goddess, and what is told at the in the Book of Death in Egyptian mythology. So at the time of death, our hearts are weighed against the feather of Mayat. And if our heart is not as light as a feather, if our heart is heavier than the feather, then it is devoured by this crocodile beast. However, if your heart is as light as a feather, then you move on to the field of reeds, which we may consider like heaven or paradise, this wonderful place. Now, if we don't take this so literally, you just want to look at how this card is asking what is causing you grief, what causes the heart any kind of weight, but also what would free the heart from that weight. The feather of Mayat is the feather of truth and justice. So, what causes the burden on the heart is anything that is opposing the truth or the justice. So, where may you need to be honest with yourself? Where is it that you may need to see, know, or understand things differently? Where may you need to allow yourself to soften, to have more compassion, more forgiveness, or just a different way, again, of seeing, knowing, or understanding that allows the heart to lighten, that allows you to be free of certain burdens that you may be carrying unnecessarily. So again, Libra season kind of brings us into the heart. But then Scorpio invites us to go into the depth of the heart. And all of this energy is asking for truth to be revealed. Okay. So if you have the deck, I do recommend reading the definition of this card in the workbook. There may be other aspects of this card that speak to you personally, or you can just meditate on it and see what comes through to you. All right. Okay. So Libra made the connection and Scorpio is bringing us deeper into it. Now, in this is where you want to grab your pen, your paper, take note of the events of the month so you can plug it into your calendar. On November 1st, the very first day of the month, we have the Alchemist of the month. That is what I call the new moon. So we have the new moon in Scorpio, And with Scorpio energy, it often gets only depicted as being related to sex and money and power. And it's this extreme kind of uh, extreme energy. There's another word I'm thinking of though, but it's extreme. It's I don't know, the word will come to me. But anyway, it does have depth. Okay. If nothing else, Scorpio has depth. It is fixed water. And so there can be a lot of like uh trying to control the waters or control emotion within this energy. This essence is where we may hold our cards very close to our chest because we want to see how other people are moving as it relates to emotion. We may want to be a little manipulative with emotions to get what we want or to reveal things that are people are trying to hide from us. This is a season where a lot may be revealed, either you recognizing and realizing things for yourself about you, or you recognizing and realizing things about other people. It can go either way. But in this energy, especially in the eighth house, which is the house of Scorpio, there is another focus on other people's money or investments. So, in this energy of the new moon, if any of you have anything going on with other people's money, it could be investments. Maybe you are some type of investor, but it could also be things like when people pass away, inheritance, other people's money in that sense. So if anything is coming up for you personally around this time, around other people's energy or other people's money, you do want to have some consideration of how you are interacting with those resources, how you're allocating them. Um, Again, if there's anything you need to really understand or renegotiate or plan differently around that energy. So the new moon in of itself is a time where we are planting new seeds. One cycle has ended and now a new cycle is beginning. And so in this energy again, what can you plant seeds around that you want to initiate in your life? But don't forget this theme of Scorpio because the new moon is in this sign. So again, for some of you, it could be other people's money, investments, shared finances, these kinds of things. But also, it could be some emotional depth that you want to really examine or explore or plant some seeds around. You may want to give yourself permission to be more vulnerable. Perhaps this is a time where you recognize there needs to be more depth in connection and communication with someone in your life. Perhaps you need a mediator or a therapist, a mentor, someone to support you in going deeper, either together or as individuals. But this energy really does allow us to examine what we feel. So, this new moon, I want you to really allow yourself to examine what it is that you feel around whatever area seems most prominent for you in your life at this time. So when you write on November 1st, new moon in Scorpio, highlight what is it that I feel? And this energy often does bring up for us this craving of depth of connection, where Libra may just want connection. This is like but we want depth of connection. It's not so superficial, it's where we go deeper. So, in all of this as well, it can be very transformative. But before we get into the transformation, what is it that we are focused on? And whatever it is that you are feeling, how may those feelings or emotions potentially changing you? Or do they have an opportunity to change you in some way, change your mind, change how you see things, change how you understand, make shift and change in maybe what you desire, what you're craving. So during the new moon, what is it that you feel? Examine that. Now, the other thing about this energy on November 11th is it is a triple one day. It is 11/1, November 1st. And so this is empowered creativity and alignment. The number one represents alignment, and the number three represents creativity. And so, with the triple one on this day, you may also want to have some consideration about being in alignment with divine intelligence and with your higher mind and with your higher emotion to support you in exploring some new levels of creativity. You know, emotions often drive and inspire people's creative essence, whether it's artwork, musicians, writers, all across the board. Emotion often drives and inspires creativity. So, if you make sure to align yourself with the higher frequency of your mind, your intelligence, which can be done in meditation, you can then open and expand the mind to tuning into that depth again of what it is that you feel, and then use that feeling to create something beautiful or at least inspire something beautiful in your life. All right, darlings, on November 3rd, we have Mars and Pluto in opposition, and we have Mars moving into the sign of Leo. So I don't tell you every single transit that goes on every month, but ones that seem significant. So this Mars Pluto opposition feels significant because it creates a bit of tension. And so you want to be mindful around this day, on this day, the day before, the day after, but on this day, be mindful of your triggers or potential to act in anger. Remember, Mars is the god of war, and Pluto is that planet of death, rebirth, and transformation. So these are two very kind of volatile planets, we could say. These are two hot-headed planets that we can say, and they are in opposition. So imagine that tug of war, that tension between these two energies that are very, again, can be volatile. So you do want to have that mindfulness around how you are feeling or how you may be triggered in this energy. So you can also consciously choose to observe what you're feeling, but not to be reactive, but rather be an observation. You can question yourself, observe yourself, but again, consciously choose to respond rather than react. And then also with Mars moving into Leo on the same day, that brings even more fire to the table because that essence, that god of war, is in that Leo intelligence. And Leo in of itself is bold in expression. It brings a boldness in how you assert yourself. So just be mindful that day of your energy and how you may be communicating or asserting yourself, but also have a mindfulness that other people are feeling this energy as well. Now, on the same day, we have Venus and Jupiter in an opposition. Now, Venus is the planet related to like love and beauty, finances, money, all these things that we may desire, the opulence of it all. But Jupiter is the planet of expansion and growth. So, with these two in an opposition, you may really have a desire to, I want to say, slip into like this greedy kind of feeling, right? So Venus is the desire, and Jupiter is going to expand that feeling of desire. So you may just want to overindulge in this energy. You may feel very tempted in this energy. And at the same time, don't forget about that Mars Pluto opposition. So, how are you asserting yourself in this desire of like wanting it all? It could be a very interesting day. I wonder how this energy may play out for you. Um, and it can also cause you to not be able to make up your mind over what you want. And if that's the case, then just be at peace with you'll have the opportunity to make a decision around what you want later at another date when these planets are no longer in opposition. All right. So after November 3rd, if you are a member on the app, I would recommend on the Energetic Alchemist app, mark your calendar for November 10th, because for people who are members on the app, we have a free class that day, very focused on intuition. And then the day after that, on November 11th, we have the 1111 portal. So the number 11 and definitely 1111 are often associated with good fortune. And 11:11, when people see it on the clock, whether it's AM or PM, a lot of people look at this as a time to like make a wish, a time that gives you the acknowledgement that you're being divinely guided, supported. Again, it's this essence of like good fortune or good luck or making wishes. When people see that time on the clock, it can often be associated with wishes granted, goal setting, new beginnings, all of the above. I often think of 11s as portals. So it could be um, highlighting this intelligence of this portal into new opportunity, new essence, new experience. And it's the only date on our calendar that has the same four numbers, the same number four times. So anyway, 11:11, you may want to set some clear intentions around that day or observe anyway what it is that you really are opening yourself up to in terms of what you're allowing yourself to match in frequency, what you're allowing yourself to match in vibration. And hopefully these energies start coming into your awareness during the new moon on the first. So have that self-reflection again of what it is that you feel during the new moon, but also expand into what it is you would like to experience, right? And then allow that to percolate for a few days. And then on 11/11, go deeper into that expansion of the blessing of, this life that you're living and the opportunity to create and the opportunity for new experience and good fortune. Really breathe that in. Now, the next date I want you to put on your calendar is 11/15. So, November 15th, Saturn goes direct in Pisces. And remember that Saturn is the planet that is considered our task master. It's like the planet that helps us to learn lessons. It is the time lord. There are a lot of different ways we can look at Saturn, but it really does help us to learn for our growth. And it was in retrograde since June, and now it will be going direct in the sign of Pisces. So it did have lessons for us around forgiveness and vulnerability, especially being in that Piscean energy. You may have noticed since June, if you look from then till now, if you had any lessons around, trust. This was definitely a time of growth. It was a a growth cycle for all of us because again, that taskmaster energy, that Saturnian energy saying, well, how are you going to respond? How are you going to react? Are you going to make the responsible choice? Are you going to take ownership, accountability? Are you going to do the right thing? So, what came up for you around this from June until now? And think about the wisdom that you've gained through whatever those experiences may have been, and then how you can now use that to help others or to further support your own development as Saturn is now stationing direct. Okay. Now, on that same day, on the 15th of November, we also have the queen of the month, which is the full moon. So we have the full moon in Taurus. And as most of you know now, when we have a full moon, the sun and moon are in opposition. So they're in opposite signs. So because the sun is in Scorpio, the moon will be in Taurus in her fullness. So we have full moon in Taurus, which really again brings up a theme again about finances, but this is about stability. And in the full moon, it is like maybe there is some cycle you need to end in terms of your finances. Maybe this is a good time to consider again how you're allocating your funds, what you have, doing some financial planning, creating more work-life balance. Okay. And it's just a good time to consider the practicality with your resources and then also look at what's left over for you to indulge and play with because Taurus is ruled by Venus. So there still may be that desire to indulge a little bit and to have some enjoyment, enjoying the pleasures of life. But first, take care of what matters most as it relates to your stability, your security, financial your financial health. So, this full moon, you want to consider what it is you are full of course, but really it's a great time to consider some financial planning with it being in Taurus. All right. November 19th, Pluto in Aquarius. I know you've been hearing a lot about this. Pluto will be in Aquarius from November 19th until January 19th, 2044. Yeah, it's 20 years. So, Pluto and Aquarius, this energy that we've been hearing so much about, is all about revolution and evolution. And we may see a lot of breakthrough. I mean, goodness, in this lifetime, we've already seen so many advancements in technology and science. And, just in our lifetime, my friends and I always joke, we went from, I remember seeing the rotary phones to like the phones on the wall in the kitchen to the cordless phones to now a lot of people don't even have landlines. We all have cell phones, but even the cell phones went through so many iterations. They went from these big brick phones down to these tiny phones. Now we literally walk around with computers in our hands. So but even still, we will notice with Pluto in Aquarius a lot of change, a lot of evolution within science, technology, how we are allocating resources to the community as a whole at large. And we will notice a lot of collective change and hopefully societal progress because Aquarius is the humanitarian. So there's a lot of focus more on community, on group, on society as a whole. Whereas Pluto, again, is the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation. So while some of these things may sound great because Aquarius is innovative, it's futuristic, it is concerned with, again, the community as a whole, with fairness, with everyone being in their freedom. Pluto and its destructiveness can cause a lot of shift and change that is uncomfortable to get us towards the goal. So we may notice a lot of disruption, collectively speaking. But remember, what is it leading us towards? What is it leading us to? What is the bigger goal? And whatever it is we are wanting to see differently in this world, it is going to require change. So it'll be interesting to see how we experience this. For those of you that are Aquarius, of course, this is hitting our ascendant and we may be going through some deep shifts in identity. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Okay, so we also have on November 21st, the sun is going to move out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius. And as I said, sign kind of sets the stage for the next one. So during the beginning of November, you really don't want to be afraid of going deep, whether it's deep in your emotion, holding space, allowing other people to share their truth and their emotion. This is a time to go deep into research, into understanding the underbelly, the shadow, what is hidden, not being shocked by, what is revealed to be healed, but instead choosing to participate in this, recognizing again, how is Scorpio trying to elevate you into your power? What needs to change? What needs to transform in order for you to regain your sense of power, your strength, that beauty that only transformation can provide? Once we go through this cycle, we will transition into Sagittarius. And again, on the 21st, the sun moves into Sagittarius. And again, that energy is where we take the wisdom of what we gained in Scorpio season and we allow that wisdom to expand. We go deeper, we aim higher, right? So, as I mentioned before, we will talk more about Sagittarius in December, but just know that this energy, like all of the depth, all of the feeling, all of the change, all of the growth that we may experience in November is setting the stage to aim higher, to move beyond your comfort zone, to allow yourself to evolve into higher consciousness, to allow yourself to enjoy travel, learning from direct experience, all of these things. So, there's a lot of beauty in what this month is going to offer and what it's setting us up for. Now, the next date I want you to mark on your calendar is November 25th, when Mercury goes retrograde in Sagittarius. By now, we all know what Mercury retrograde is, but it's going to be specifically in Sagittarius. So you may want to reevaluate what it is you are aiming for. What is it that you want to expand into? What is it that you want to learn or grow from? Where do you want to travel or visit? What is going to feed you and help you go closer into what is true, deepening your understanding and your wisdom? With Mercury in retrograde in Sagittarius, you may want to reevaluate again what it is you believe in, what it is you're aiming for, what it is you're choosing to expand, what you're giving your time, your effort, your energy to. This is also a time, of course, to be mindful of our communication in any Mercury retrograde. But with it being in Sagittarius, be very careful of not having your foot in the mouth, as Sagittariuses often can. So this Mercury retrograde will last until December 15th. Then on November 29th, we have another 1111 portal because 2 and 9 equal 11. So November 29th, we have another one, but this portal is related to collaboration, choice, and the end of a cycle. Now, the previous 1111 portal, remember, was like the day of good fortune and wishes granted, goals setting, new beginnings, all of that. The reason that this 1111 portal has a different point of focus is because the numbers, we still have 11, but then we have 11 comprised of 2 and 9. 2 is collaboration, partnership, choice. 9 is ending a cycle, right? So this particular 1111 portal points to collaboration, choice, and the ending of a cycle. And it's going to happen after the full moon. So it'll be very interesting again to see if anything shows up for you in terms of what you are growing out of. So, a lot of beautiful energy this month, a lot of growth. We are going deep so that we can expand. Don't forget to check out the feather card, meditate on it, read the definition of this card in the guidebook, and see what else comes through for you and how it can support you through this beautiful energy throughout November. Speaking of the cards, if you do want the deck, I know that some of you are planning to buy the deck as a holiday gift or just a gift for yourself. You know that shipping can be crazy during the holidays. So I do recommend, ordering your decks way before the holidays so you don't have to worry so much about the shipping. And hopefully these cards will get to you in time. You can order them, of course, through my website, theenergeticalchemist.com. Also, the registration is open for the Alchemy Circle. If you've probably heard about this for years or you're a part of it already, but it is the year-long mentoring program that I offer every year, where if you are ready to seriously be dedicated to your practice, have a space where you're holding yourself accountable to practice, but also expanding your understanding, your depth of learning as it relates to energetic arts and alchemy, as it relates to Reiki practices, the Alchemy Circle is the community that you want to join. So go to my website. You can learn more about that and activate your membership. Our classes this year will start at the end of December. And you also, as a member of the Alchemy Circle, have access to all of the classes that I will be teaching online throughout 2025. So there's a lot that you get with membership, but space is limited. So activate your membership right away. And the Reiki Rays Global Healing Summit is taking place. I believe it begins on November 8th. And each day of the summit, you can watch the videos that are released that day for free. So the summit takes place, I want to say, between the 8th and the 12th. And each day there are a certain number of interviews released. And again, you can watch them for free for 24 hours, but that is a lot of content. There are over 30 interviews. So if you want to access the entire summit and go at your own pace and have access to all the free resources that are included, do the early bird special. But that you have to do before the summit launches. So you want to make sure at least by November 7th, just to be safe, you use the link and get the early bird special, which is 70% off. Ultimately, it's $57 for the entire summit if you do the early bird special. After that, it will go to the full price. So that link, of course, will be provided down in the description below. Also, as I told you, there's a free intuition class for those of you who are members on the app. So mark your calendar for November 10th if you want to join me for that live. There are all kinds of new episodes on Reiki Radio. I am so excited to continue to share with you. Hopefully, you are learning so much from the guests that we have. It has been a lot of fun. And also, there is a new community launching that is going to feature teachers and healers that you know are going to provide you quality service and quality classes. That way, you don't have to question who's a good teacher in my area or who's a great practitioner go to in my area. So stay tuned for that. I know that will be launching sometime soon as well. So I hope to see you in the Alchemy Circle, beautiful loves. Don't forget, order your decks for the holidays and have a beautiful, expansive, deep November. Bye for now.